same thing is happening. If user is not defining that which environment, then it is the fault of the person who is taking the requirement. Why that person is not asked?
Okay. But
That's
if the
why we
user
have
has
a
asked, and it's in
and
the
then he is
requirement
not
document,
defined. Yeah, tell me.
and it is
User
in the
is
document and it still does not support
then
in one of the
coding error.
environment.
Then it is coding error. Developer has not taken care of that point. Developer has not gone through the requirement nicely. They have not taken care of all the environment at the time of writing the code.
Yeah, but sometimes, what Microsoft provides, or, whatever.
Now I'm coming to that point. Your point is very valid, very much valid. But then who is at the fault? The person who is taking the requirement, they have not confirmed that from the developer. They just blindly accept everything, whatever given by the user. Yes, 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 yes. That's the wrong thing. If that person is a non-technical person who is taking the requirement, then he has to confirm from the technical team. Is it feasible? Feasibility is there. This is what user is demanded. If it is not feasible, he has to inform that then and there before accepting the requirement. Again, that person is at the fault who is taking the requirement. Yeah. Because he is not taken acceptance from that's why acceptance criteria is written, and that is read by, understand by development and testing team. And if something is not feasible, they have to. That's why we have agile model. Earlier, nothing is transparent. Earlier, what was happening? There is a team who is taking the requirement. Now it depends on them whether they want to discuss with developer or not. So if they have not discussed with developer and that is not technically feasible and it is not developed, and at the end user is rejecting it, the entire cost is a waste and user is finally unhappy. So now in Agile, everything is there in that refinement call. That's why it is known as not review of requirement. It is refinement of requirement. Client has given their idea. Now that idea is read by development team. They will understand whether that is going to develop or not. Testing team will read that. They find that whether environment is written over there. If it is not written, again client will be, someone is going to ask to the client, you have not given this point, give me the client point. Now client will give that point. Now again development and testing team will read it, whether it is understandable, feasible. So refinement meeting is there at 3 levels. First, high level refinement, then there is first detailed refinement, then there is second detailed refinement, and then that story is finalized for writing the code and testing the code. Clear? So in Agile, everything is transparent to the entire team, and client will be also happy that he is day-to-day life he is interacted with technical team, and he is happy that technical team is talking in technical term to him, and he is aware about everything. So why that feature is not feasible, like you are telling, not possible in Microsoft. So those things are also aware by client, and they found themselves technically sound now. Now they know that why that this is. So they are not also behaving like foolish or in non-technical person. Clear this? Yeah. But yeah, if it is in requirement and not written in the code, and the tester will find it as a defect, then the error has to be fixed. If it is not written in the requirement, or if it is written in the requirement that this environment will not support, and tester will find problem in that environment, then it is, or sometimes cache issue also there. On one Chrome, it is that behavior is not coming, on another Chrome that behavior is coming. Then the environment is also not the issue. Your own system is the issue. Your Chrome has a problem. Clear my point? So many reasons are there. So many reasons are clear. So for every defect, we cannot fix the error. Yeah, if code is the reason behind the problem, the error will be detected and fixed. Error is always detected by developer. Error is always fixed by developers. Defect is always found by tester, and defect is always resolved by developer. Tester can only give the defect. Developer will resolve it. Developer will give the solution for that problem. That because of this reason, this problem is coming. Either as a solution, developer asks them to change the environment. Either as a solution, developer asks them to clear your cache or to reinstall the software, anything. Or if it is a coding error, they will provide the new code. They will provide the new build, which is now where the code is correct, and tester has to run that code on that new environment. Okay, so this is the way how SRS was looking. Here the overview, scope, outline, this is the document. Then requirements are written in this format: functional requirement, Then we have non-functional requirement. So it's not very much, means what you can say, user friendly, right? Hardware requirement, software
Yeah.
requirement, these type. So to make it more user friendly, now SRS is changed as a user history.
Okay.
Now we have
So
one
they,
more
they still
coming
use
to
it.
that. SRS is not using these days user history because everyone is working in Agile. So now coming to the next term, that is defect. So it should be previous because we are at error. So defect must be before this. So what is the synonyms for defect? We have bug and fault, and it is any kind of imperfection. If background color is bad, that is also a defect. If font color is wrong, that is also a defect. If a spelling mistake is there, that is also a defect. If icon is wrong, that is also a defect. Anything which is not mapping with the requirement is a defect. If I'm talking about a spelling mistake, so to check the spelling mistake, I just have to open the software. I don't have to run any behavior. It will visible in front of me. If I'm talking about background color and font color, I don't have to run the software. It will be visible without running. We just have to open the interface of the software and we are able to see the background color. But if I'm clicking on OK button and then I'm finding the page we should open after clicking on OK button, we are getting some other page. So this is also a defect. But here to get this defect, I'm running the software, right? I'm clicking on a button. Getting my point. So defect is also that where I'm not using the software, just opening the software and the defect is visible. Defect can be also found when we are running the software, and after running the software, if some wrong behavior is there, then that is also a defect. So defect can be functional, can be non-functional, can be static, can be dynamic. So we have multiple types of defect. So whatever defect we are getting in the functional behavior is known as failure. So that's why we have a comparison between defect and failure. Defects leads to failure. So all the defects are not known as failure. Only those defects are known as a failure where functional behavior of the software is giving wrong result. Clear? So that's why we have our defect definition and we have our failure definition as well. So defect is an imperfection or deficiency in a work product where it does not meet its requirement or specification. What it should suppose to, if it is not any kind of a minor to minor imperfection is known as defect. Now coming to the failure. So as a tester, we are finding defect and sometimes we are finding failure as well. Because if that defect is in functional behavior, actually we found the failure, a defect which is of failure type. There is no synonyms for failure. Failure is failure, an event in which a component or system does not perform a required function within a specified limits. So failure is always always known as a functional defect. Whenever defect is there in the functionality, like there is a button. If the label of that button is wrong, if the name written on the button is wrong, it's not a failure because that is not to check that problem. We are not running the system. We are looking at the system and we found there is some wrong name written on the button. In requirement, some other, like in requirement, name of the button is reset and on application name of the button is cancel. So this is a defect, but this is not a failure. But if it is written in the requirement that when I'm clicking on cancel button, I should go back to the login page. And if I'm actually clicking on cancel button and I'm not going back to the login page, I'm going back to some other page. So this is what? This is a failure. Clear? So failure and defect. Failure is a type of defect, but all defects are not failure. But yeah, if it is a failure, it must be a defect. Clear? If it is an error, it leads to a defect. If there is a failure, it is a type of defect. So this slide, definitely one definition will come in your exam. Definitely one question from this slide, 100%, without any doubt. And definition directly take. This is K1 type question. So definition is directly taken from the glossary. So definition should be marked up of all the three things: error, defect, failure, without any kind of change. Question can be like this: during static testing, can you find failure? Give me the answer. Static testing means what? Are you running the system to perform static testing? No. Static means we are not running the system. So can without running the system you can get the failure?
No, there won't be any functionality.
There is no any functionality. So during static testing, we never get a failure. Clear?
Yeah.
The question can be like this as well. During static testing also we are finding defect, but not failure.
Not failure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll see different types of testing in future sessions. Now coming to the next topic. So how many total topics are there? I think only 4 topics are there, and this is the last topic of this. Yeah, only 4 topics. We are at the last slide. So defect, root
So
cause,
after
and effect.
deliver the product, then actually I have one doubt. Yeah, after deliver the product, then only we can see the failure.
No. After writing the code, we can see the failure, because developer can also run the code at their end to check for testing purpose, and there also they can find the problem. When you have written 10 lines of code,
Okay,
when
but
you
that's
have
a defect,
written
right?
that, why that's a defect? Why not failure if wrong window is opening after execution? Whenever we are running the code and we are getting any kind of defect that is a functional defect, that defect is known as a failure. But yeah, a running code should be there. So running code is started from, yeah, definitely you cannot find failure in SRS. You cannot find failure in design document. You can find failure once code is written and once you are running the code. So why only in final build? Have you ever written the code?
No. Yeah. When I was in college.
Yeah, in college you have written the code. So what you have done? You can recall that after writing 10 lines of code, you are running the code. You are entering
Yeah.
some input. You are getting some output. So if you are entering in the input and not getting the output according to the input, what it is? It is a failure.
Okay.
Output is not according to input. It's again a defect, but
Yeah.
that defect is not found on the final system. That's why we have a separate topic for this. That's why we have not completed testing topic today. Okay, don't get confused. Entire testing is over. So
Okay.
we have one more topic where we'll talk about all these labels. Then your confusion will be clear. So just be with the topic. Who, where, when, don't go on that topic. Okay, because for that we have a separate topic. These are the labels. Okay, so when we'll talk about this, then you can understand that which type of failure we can find during system level, which type of failure we can find during component level. But failure will only find once we are running the either on the final system or during code writing. Clear? So we have multiple levels of test and different types of testers available. Now coming to the most important part, what could be the root cause? Okay, you have read the requirement. I'm giving, don't read it right now. You are not able to understand, but when I'll explain, then you are able to understand. Slide. I'm just giving you a scenario. Try to understand the scenario. I've given you the user story of a domain, and that domain is actually not like right now. I have shown you user story of ATM, and both of you have used ATM, so this user story is understandable. But if this user story is about some system which you have never used, getting my point?
Yeah.
Then also you have user story only on the basis of which you have to perform testing. So you read the user story, you don't know about domain, but you have write the test case according to user story. When you have reported a defect based on your test, developer is telling your test is wrong. So why we should first show that to the developer? Why not we should first try to find out the reason behind the defect at our end without looking inside the code by analyzing the defect. So for that, some senior person is important. So there is always a review point. We are directly not reporting the defect. Whenever we have a defect, we think that this is a defect. First, we'll contact with our team. We talk to some senior person. We should try to understand the requirement. We should try to understand the behavior. And if that person is telling, yeah, whatever you are telling is can be a coding error, or if that person is telling whatever you have written as a test, this is not actually the behavior is like this, and you have updated the test, and now you find that behavior is working fine. So after getting the defect, first we try to get the root cause. Root cause is our understanding. Root cause can be coding error. Root cause can be environmental issue. You are running that test on your system, it's giving you problem. You are running same test on your peer system, there is no problem. So it means your system is buggy, right? So root cause analysis before reporting the defect, because I told who will give you the solution of that defect? Developer. But before showing anything to developer, first try to analyze that thing at our end, and that phase is known as root cause analysis. Okay. So
Okay.
which type of defect we have tried to report? Where our root cause analysis is telling some coding error. Wherever our root cause analysis is telling it, this cannot be the coding error, we have made some mistakes, so we have to correct our mistake and we have to close that defect without reporting, delete that defect without reporting. Okay. So root cause of defect can be a mistake, single line of incorrect code, user story which was ambiguous. User story is written, this button should take you to the next page. Now the next page which is coming,